How the fuck does this happen? X-Men: The Last Stand, released in 2006 and is directed by Brett Ratner, who's also directed such films like The Tower Heist, Red Dragon, and those Rush Hour films. And in 2017, he was accused of sexual harassment and rape. So he's a piece of shit, which is the same description that I would give this movie. The film stars Hugh Jackman, Halle Berry, Ian McKellen, Famke Jenkins, Shawn Ashmore, Aaron Stanford, Vinnie Jones, and Ellen Page. Oh, and I guess Patrick Stewart is in there. Regrettably, these people were in this movie. And this is episode 88 of Caleb Watches Movies. We are continuing our journey to episode 100 and beyond series, and today we are talking about a movie that I was extremely disappointed by. So you gotta put into perspective, with the X-Men franchise, before we had films like Deadpool, Logan, Days of Future Past, First Class, we had what was gonna be just a X-Men trilogy. We had the first X-Men film, which was very revolutionary. It kind of doesn't hold up very well, but it was very important to the history of comic book movies. Then we had X2 X-Men United, which is still one of the best comic book superhero movies that have ever been made. They were taking the superhero genre seriously. There were serious issues. It was almost a dramatic piece. There were deaths in that film, all leading up with an excellent cliffhanger of this fiery bird that was floating in the water, leading us to think, oh, X-Men 3, it's gonna blow the roof off of the place. And I remember going to see the midnight showing of this movie because I was so hyped. And I have to say that this movie does hold that crown of being the most disappointed I was leaving a theater. Have I hated movies while leaving a theater? Oh yes, absolutely, but I don't think I was ever so hyped for a movie and left so pissed off before. The X-Men franchise to this point was all building up to this. X-Men 3 was supposed to be the culmination of the battle over mutants. Charles Xavier's sides of thinking, oh, we can coexist with humans, and Magneto's point of view of we should exterminate all Homo sapiens. Oh, and then there's the whole Jean Grey resurrection, Dark Phoenix storyline that kind of just gets shoehorned into that whole scenario. And that's basically how I think this film was constructed. It was just everything just shoehorned into each other. There was not a cohesive storyline anywhere to be seen in this film. And I know it was a difficult situation that Fox was in because Bryan Singer, who did direct the first two X-Men films, decided not to return for this movie, didn't put down any story points at all for it. He left to go to Warner Brothers to do Superman Returns, taking Cyclops James Marsden with him too. So Fox was left with, what do we do? So they hire Matthew Vaughn, who is a stellar director in my opinion, to do this thing, and then he leaves the project due to professional differences, which is a Hollywood term for they're disagreeing on everything. So they bring in asshole Brett Ratner to do the thing, which, oh, it was the beginning of the end. And it's just obvious, I think, that whoever was creating this movie didn't really have like a big comic book history background, or at least didn't consult it really. Yes, they probably heard of these two comic book story arcs of the Dark Phoenix saga and the Mutant Cure, and then they were just like, oh, well, we can just tie them both together, and yeah, that'll do it. Sure, yeah, okay. And what happened was that the story arc of the Dark Phoenix that was set up at the end of X-Men 2 just got overtaken by this mutant curb bullshit. And I don't think that these creators, scriptwriters, directors had any sense of who these characters are even from the first films. Not just from the comic books, but from the films in their franchise. Because these characters do complete 180s. With Patrick Stewart's Professor X in the first films, he was kind, he was gentle, he cared about people. In this film, he's a total dick. He starts accusing Logan of doing something wrong when in all actuality, no asshole, it was you, dipshit. Let the pawns go first. A line uttered by Ian McKellen's Magneto during the final battle scene where he basically just throws all of the weaker mutants towards the army that has the weaponized cure. And they're all being shot at and they're all turning to Homo sapiens. And I'm just thinking, no, Magneto would not do that. He cares about mutants. He doesn't want any mutants to lose their powers or die. He wouldn't just sacrifice them to have their powers taken away. Just, what were you thinking? And then plus the idea of Magneto when he's summoning his army, as opposed to like summoning his army in the middle of the city where he's surrounded by, oh, I don't know, metal, which is the basis of his powers. He puts himself in the middle of the woods where there's no metal anywhere. huh? And if you remember all the marketing for this movie, the big marketing point you saw on all the posters and billboards was this character, Angel. Ooh, we're finally gonna get Angel in an X-Men movie. I don't think anyone in the film X-Men franchise knows who Angel is or how to do that character on screen. To this day, they haven't done it correctly. And I love Ben Foster as an actor. Don't get me wrong, he is stellar. But in this movie, what the fuck is Angel's point? He serves no purpose to anything. Oh, what's his big climactic moment? Oh, he's not gonna fight or anything. He's not gonna, stand up for humanity and mutants. No, he's just gonna swoop in and save his asshole father. Hugh Jackman and Halle Berry get two really big, chunky roles in this movie, which, is not a bad thing. I think they were a little overused in this movie. With how much they were used, I had to think there had to be somewhere in their contract where they were like, yeah, we gotta be in all of the scenes and you're gonna pay us money if you want us to do this thing. Which, from a business standpoint, if you're gonna sell yourself like that, as an actor, hey, all the more power to you. The one shining grace I love from this movie is Kelsey Grammer as Beast. That is perfect casting for me. And his makeup design is actually very believable. They did a great job with Hank McCoy. But then they completely wasted other characters like Juggernaut. Oh my god. He's this huge character in the comics, and in here, he's just a henchman. When Multiple Man is rescued from Magneto, they were like, yeah, so you coming? Sure, I'm in, buddy. Heck, speaking of henchmen, they even made the Dark Phoenix, who is the most powerful mutant in this entire movie, into a henchman. Which, speaking of powerful mutants, in this movie, not in any other X-Men film, do they have a power mutant ranking scale. Like, they state that Magneto and Pyro are level 4 mutants, and the Phoenix is level 5. As if they were like tornadoes. They're F4s, they're F5s. I don't give a shit. We do get a nice little battle between Pyro and Iceman, something that I've been looking forward to. It only lasted like 10 seconds, but it was still kind of cool. But I think that's how this film was made. It was just chunk by chunk by chunk. There is no fluidity to any of these scenes or to the script. There are so many one-liners and quips said in this film that are representations of other people's powers. Wolverine, yes, I heard you're quite an animal. Lucas talking. Come on, we won't get caught. You can walk through walls,
You of all people should know how fast the weather can change.
And the one part that drove me crazy then and drives me crazy now, even watching this film for this review, there is a line that the president says when they're about to send all of their soldiers in to capture all of these mutants who are hanging out in the woods. They're trying to build it up like this is some big decision that the president has to make. It goes like this.
We are green to go.
Okay, send them in.
Okay? Send them in? What? What kind of a president says that? Like, oh, the president is gonna decide, oh, we're gonna nuke Dallas like what they did in Independence Day. Sir, do you wish to deploy? And then Bill Pullman is just sitting there just thinking, have those words ever been spoken by our commander-in-chief by any, secret deployment? Has it? Like, when those troops were about to go in to capture Osama bin Laden, did President Obama say, okay, send them in? Or when we first went to war with Iraq back in 2003, did President Bush say, yeah, okay, send them in. Oh, okay. Or like after Bill Clinton got a blowjob in the Oval Office and he had a next appointment, did he say, okay, yeah, send them in? Oh, what a fucking stupid line. And I still think about it and I still hate it to death today. Guys, I don't want to keep talking about this. This film was a disappointment then. Watching this movie again for this movie review, it's a disappointment now. This movie was supposed to be the big climax of the X-Men franchise. It had everything going for it. It had a lot of characters, a lot of A-list stars. It had the promotional material. Wolverine with his 3 claws with the X symbol behind it. That's perfect for X-Men 3. You have this awesome cliffhanger of the Phoenix in X-Men 2. All of this just basically thrown out the window. This is just a stereotypical, generic comic book film. If this was its own solo adventure, it'd probably be fine, but because it was the third in this franchise, and because it had so much build to it, it just sucked. I mean, you can say that this film did inspire Avengers Infinity War with all the disintegrating people in it. The only good thing, I guess. This film was so disappointing that almost 6 years later they came up with a film that basically erased it from existence. If X-Men Days of Future Past never came out, this terrible piece of shit would still be canon in the X-Men franchise. But since Days of Future Past happened, we don't have to give a shit about this thing. So I'm gonna give X-Men The Last Stand 1 out of 5 Blu-rays?
What? No.
Alright everyone, so we are moving right along with our Journey to Episode 100 and Beyond series, and the next film we're going to be talking about is a film that stars my favorite actor. And that's a very tough question. When it comes to actors, I really can't put my finger on one favorite one. There will be certain periods where, oh, this guy stands out more to me, or this guy stands out more to me, or in a certain genre this guy stands out more to me. But I think just from overall personality, professionalism, and the performances that this actor has given, I would say that he is my favorite actor, at least today. And in this movie, he plays a homosexual. And I love the way that he says homosexual in the movie. It's just so homosexual. Do you think you know who my favorite actor is? Please, comment below and let me see your guesses. So everyone, have you seen X-Men The Last Stand? Have you sat through that piece of shit? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before, you stumbled across it because of this review, for whatever reason, please comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And when you're done commenting, please like and subscribe to my channel so you know the next time I post my next movie review. So everyone, I will see you next time with a film starring my favorite actor. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.